Hey everybody, it's Greg.
And I'm Katy. Welcome to the Meeple Society. Today we are counting down our top 10 strategy games.
So yeah, I know you did too because I made the list up. But we did it through Pub Meeple again.
Yes.
Did you alternate it at all?
I adjusted one that when I do Pub Meeple and there's 400 games on there, which
There wasn't 400, there was 360.
When I do Pub Meeple and there's 400 games on there, because that's what it felt like, it tends to stretch on. And after a while, I find that you're just clicking the stupid button and then you realize, oh, wait, what did I just do? Back up, back up, back up. Oh, okay, that's all right. Keep going. So when I looked at the list, I did adjust one, thinking, but this one's got a lot more strategy than that one does. Mm-hmm. So I did make one adjustment.
I adjusted nothing.
Okay.
And became very surprised at how this came out.
I was not at all surprised because as I was going through the connections and the possibilities, I found myself making the same decisions I was making when we did our top 100. I was very surprised how similar this list is to the top 10 of our top 100.
Mine... I'm looking at mine, I'm like going, is my top 100 going to change next year?
Oh.
There's 3 new games on here that has not been on any of my lists.
Well, we've gotten a lot of brand new, very heavy strategy games this year.
Yeah.
And just in the last 6 months.
Right. Well, 3 of them are on this list.
And our top 100, we started compiling that last October?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been 8 months.
Let's go. I'm predicting at least 3 crossovers, though.
That's a good possibility.
But here we go. This should be an interesting one. So,
yes.
Ladies first.
All right. My number 10 top strategy game is a game about building an engine. Literally, building an engine.
Okay.
This is Corrosion. More importantly, you are building the engine and trying to make use of all the parts before they corrode away. I like the thought process that goes into this one because you're using cards, but then you are laying them out and you can't touch them again until they kind of fall off your board.
Till it comes back around.
And you can make components that make your engine better, but again, after that comes back around, those parts corrode off.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very interesting concept. I really like the way they put it all together. I really am looking forward to exploring this one some more. But yeah, that's my number 10, Corrosion.
It's in my top 20.
Okay.
So my number 10 is surprising that it's on this list that beat out some other games that I thought would definitely be on this list, though. Okay. But it's one that you really like. It's all about building a zoo.
Ark Nova.
This is Ark Nova.
Wow.
I don't know if it was just because we've played it just recently because we played with the expansion, tried to get it played, so we figured it out.
It is a good one.
Yeah. But yeah, this is where you're building a zoo. The only thing that's kind of really weird about this is the scoring. You could score a bunch of points or you could be negative points, just depending on who triggers the end game and where you're at on that board by the time all said and done. I mean,
yeah. Well, and I know on BGG there is an alternate scoring because a lot of people had problems with that, where you just add the two together rather than subtracting one from the other or something. We've never played it that way. We've always played by the base rules.
This one's compared to Terraforming Mars because of all the cards that are in it, and that you're getting cards that are going to do stuff for you maybe later in the game, and
It's because of all of the
Terraforming Mars ish. It's just all the cards.
I see the comparison.
Using the icons on it for other scoring mechanisms or being able to play other cards, you had to have these icons and stuff.
Those,
I get it, but I don't.
I think they're two totally different games. I think they're two different.
Yeah. So this is my number 10, which is I was surprised was in my number 10 that other games weren't there instead. But yeah, that's Ark Nova.
All right. Well, my number 9 is going to see our first crossover, Ark Nova.
Oh, well, there you go.
Which was, as I pointed out, this is very similar to my top 10 of my in my top 100. It was number 9 in my top 100, which I thought was kind of weird.
But it's number 10 here.
It's number 9 here. 10 was Corrosion. So,
Okay.
anyway, crossover number 1, Arc Nova. Yeah, everything you said. You're drafting cards out of the center of the table. The one problem, the only problem I see with this, and I like this type of game so that it's never really bothered me, is that when you are fishing for a specific icon, it's sometimes hard to find. However, there are ways to mitigate that in this game. You can get your world icons elsewhere. You can get oh my goodness, yeah, because you can get the world power icons someplace else. And so there's ways to mitigate it a little bit. There's ways to search for things. So I've always loved this one. I love the Tetrisy piece of it, of putting the zoo pieces together and trying to fill up your entire zoo.
Yeah. Well, you're big on Tetris games.
I am. And we've gotten some upgrades. I've gotten some Etsy upgrades. So I have acrylic pieces that fit over the waterways and the rocks so that everything kind of locks in place and doesn't move constantly. And I have the 3D, the ticket gates and the gray and the beige structures. And why am I drawing a blank as to what they're called? But anyway.
Concession stands?
I don't remember now. But
kiosks.
one of them is kiosks.
One's a kiosk.
Kiosks and something. Anyway, regardless. I love this game. I do. I love the way all the icons play off of each other. I love the just the whole production of the game. So, but yeah, that is Arc Nova, my number 9.
Hey, my number 9 is one of my new games to this series.
Okay.
Or into any of my lists. This has never been on one of my lists. This is basically a follow-up to Underwater Cities.
I would say
this is Evacuation.
Yeah.
This game is... We've only played it the one time, too.
Yes,
but
and I want to
gave
get
us
it
a
back to
lasting
the
memory.
table.
This is one we really want to get back to the table. It's all about your planet is dying. You've used up pretty much everything you can, and you need to evacuate everybody to this new planet that you have found in space. So it's all about getting your buildings and everything over there to building and terraforming this whole new planet. But you, in the meantime, though, you got to keep a certain of things back so that you can still fuel your rockets to get over there.
You can function, yeah.
So, and then as you're over there, you can start building stuff over on the other side. But whatever's built over there has to stay over there, and it's just an interesting way of balancing how you get things over there. Because if you have any buildings left at the end of the game, you're going to lose points for them.
Yeah.
So it's what building are you going to sacrifice to leave behind, because it's inevitably you're going to end up with one building over there.
Yeah. Well, and the idea is those buildings represent people.
Yes.
So that represents your population that are not rescued in time.
Right.
So yeah, it's a good one. It's in my top 20.
Yep. But it's all about getting your rockets. You can get more than one rocket. You can load them up. You still have to have the fuel, so you got to be able to refine your fuel on whatever each side of each planet, basically, so you get your rockets back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really like this one. Like I said, we really want to get this back to the table. This is one that really wasn't on my radar at first.
This
and
was
then
not at all.
We picked this up at Geek Way to the West.
Yeah.
And played it.
We found a good deal on it and thought, what the heck,
like this? Yes. This is when actually I seen Jeff Knapp talk about it on Tabletop Toolbox. And it made me interested in the game. And then, like I said, we picked this one up at Geek Way. So
yeah, this is a good one.
My number 9, Evacuation.
Yeah, this was in my top 20. All right, my number 8 is a new one to my list. This is one that we were introduced to by Jeff. I didn't see any interest in backing it when it first came out. And I mean, and that's okay. The version we have is fine. I don't need the big elaborate version of this one because it's ultimately just cards. But this is Let's Go to Japan.
I was thinking that's what it was. I'm like, going, wait a minute, what?
So Let's Go to Japan is a card-based tableau game where you are playing out cards into certain days of the week in order to build an itinerary for your trip to Japan. You are trying to, well, each day has a theme behind it. Maybe on Monday you're going to go shopping, and on Tuesday you're going to go see the flowers, and on Wednesday you're going to go do something else. So you are trying to set up your itinerary to make the best benefit of that initial plan. It doesn't always work out. But at the end of each day, there is a scoring option at the very bottom. And if you can manage to fulfill everything you need in your trek through each day, you get to trigger that scoring option at the bottom, which is always nice. You get happiness points and negative points on your happiness based on some of the things you're doing. Maybe something was too expensive. Maybe something was really beautiful and made you happy. However, the whole game is based in two different cities, in Tokyo and in Kyoto, and you are traveling back and forth between the cities. So you're trying to manage that as well, because you don't want to travel back and forth too often, because that takes train tickets. And train tickets are harder to come by. If you can't get enough train tickets, that's negative tickets at the end of the game. It's negative points.
Yeah.
So I don't know if this goes back into my travel agent days where I specialized in European trips. Mind you, I never did train trips, but I thought that would have been fun to do. But I really love this one. I really like the whole building the itinerary and playing it all out. So yeah, that is my number 8. Let's go to Japan.
I figured this one was going to be on your list though, because like you said, being a travel agent and
really
how you
like
used to
one.
plan our trips that we would take, and now anymore it's just like take off the car and go. And what direction do we go in today?
Yep, we have a basic direction. That's it.
So my number 8 is another new game to my list.
Okay.
Sounds
like a
I don't think you were a huge fan of this one.
Okay.
But we played this on the 24-hour.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's the first game we played on the 3rd stream. But this is Skyrise.
Okay. I had a feeling that's what you were talking about.
This is all about, you are on a world where the cities are up in the sky. And you're going from different districts to put your buildings up, but the way you do it is your auction. You're going to start, whoever the first player of that round is going to start a building someplace in one of the districts, and then the next person in line will put in a building that is a number higher than the number of the building the other person put in, and you just keep doing that until everybody just passes, or the highest numbered building is out there, and that person's going to get to put their building right there on that spot.
Yeah, you flip the building over and it becomes a permanent
So the strategy about this is trying to direct this thing in the direction you really want it to go, and where you really need to build buildings, because you have goal cards that you're trying to score on. You got personal goal cards you're trying to score on, and there's also little bitty tokens out there where you're picking it up that's going to put them down in front of you, that's going to multiply. However, like say I have 4 buildings in the brown district, or 4 brown buildings I should say, in any district. Those brown buildings are going to multiply it starting off by 2, and then for every one of those brown tokens you got, it's going to jump it up until you're past 4. 4 is the highest. When you go to 5, it drops back down, or 6, one of the two. It drops back down to how your multiplier.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
But if you get more and it goes onto your player board in another area, it's going to be 10 points for each one of those that you have in it. It's really cool. Like I said,
I wasn't a huge fan.
You weren't a huge fan because it's bidding and area control basically. But I really enjoyed this, and Justin really enjoyed this. Yeah. Pretty much everybody that played it in the 24 really liked it.
It was an intense game.
Yeah. So if you've never seen this played, go ahead and pull up the 3rd stream of our 24, and I believe it's the first game on there. So
if not, it's timestamped, so it'll be easy to find.
Check it out. So that is my number 8, Skyrise.
All right. Yeah. No, that one's not one of my favorites. All right, my number 7. This is one that has been a favorite of mine for quite some time now. It was in my top 10 out of the top 100. This one is all about terraforming other planets. Planet Unknown.
I should have known that would be on here.
Yes. I've always loved this game. We have played the heck out of this game. It is polyomino.
We have pretty much played every...
we have not played every combination, because there are a lot of combinations.
Not every combination, but I think we've played every...
We've played every planet. We've played
every faction.
Just not in
or every company.
All right, so the way this one plays is you have your planet board where you are building out your polyominoes to fill your planet, hopefully. Meanwhile, you also have your corporation board.
Okay.
And the corporation board is basically a tech track. It is 5 tech tracks, or 5 tracks. And as you are laying polyominoes down on your planet, you are bumping up as many as 2 of your tracks, depending on what you played on your planet. So you're trying to fill things in with certain rules because the water only has to go over the ice field, or I'm sorry, the water only benefits you if you go over the ice fields. Of course, you can't go outside the planet perimeter, just like most polyomino games. You can't overlap, etc. But there are other pieces on the planet that if you cover up, you destroy them, and those can be points at the end of the game if you can collect them. You have a rover that's moving around trying to collect those life pods, but meanwhile, some of those tiles have asteroids on them, and those asteroids block scoring.
Are they asteroids or meteorites?
I think they are meteors, yes. Same difference. But as you're putting tiles down, you have no choice but to place these down. If you can't get them collected by the end of the game, you're not just losing points for them, they are blocking row and column for where they sit. You can't score the row or column. I just love the way this one plays. I love the polyomino aspect. I love the tracks and what you can gain going up those tracks, because sometimes it's a trick. Is okay, what tile do I place in order to get what tracks moved up? Because I need to get this track move up. Oh, I get a bonus. I get to move an extra track up. Great. Which one's it going to be? What's most beneficial? But the big draw to this one is that Lazy Susan.
Yes.
So there's a Lazy Susan that sits in the middle of the table that makes this game play so quickly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how many players you have.
6 players, plays in an hour. 2 players, plays in an hour. Same difference. So there are 6 basically sections of this Lazy Susan, and each section has a choice of 2 polyominoes in it. Whoever's turn it is to lead off that round chooses the section they want, and then everybody else has to choose from the section that lines up in front of them. Doesn't matter if they needed that piece over there. They can't have that piece because it's not their turn to choose. They have to choose from the 2 pieces in front of them. And sometimes that can be tricky because they may not be what you need. So you just have to bide your time and wait till you can get what you need. And I love this one. I think there's just so much strategy in this is not the piece I need. What am I going to do with it to make the best possible use out of it? Because I have to choose one.
Yeah.
So anyway, absolutely love it. This was my number 7 on my top 100. It was number 5.
Yeah, I think I really like the game, although it's not my top 20. But
I'm not surprised. I'm not.
There
surprised.
is no downtime in this game.
No, there's not.
Everybody's playing every turn.
Yeah.
It's great. Like you said, no matter how the player count, it plays an hour. It plays an hour, no matter what the count is.
Yeah, I really like this one.
So that was your number 7.
That was number 7. Yes.
My number 7 is the third new game on my list. This is another one Jeff Napa introduced us to.
Cult of the New.
That's the last one. Well, no, it's not. But anyway, there's one more on here. But this is the one that we played at Jeff's house and realized we were playing opposite roles of real life.
Oh.
This is Hegemony.
Yes.
This one is very interesting. There's a lot of strategy. This game, each class has its own rule book.
Life is.
Yes, each class has its own rule because you have the state. Yep. It has its own rule book. You have the who was I? I was the
you were
corporate America.
Basically corporate America. There was a specific term for it, but it was corporate America.
And it gave you your own rule book, and it gave you ideas, goals to go through, or what you should do in certain instances and stuff.
Your goals were.
Right. And then
Even though they completely contradicted.
Then there was like
I was the working class.
Blue collar worker.
Yeah, blue collar worker. I was working class. And then there was essentially middle class.
Yeah.
And Daniel was middle class. I was working class.
And your goal was to get all your people working.
Yeah.
And my goal was just to make money.
Yes.
So for me to make money, taxes had to be down. So I could put out jobs so you could get money. But the state kept raising taxes because they needed to make money. So it was just a big funny circle, and how we were kind of like, you were yelling at me, you need to get money, jobs. I was like, I need to make money, and if I can't get money, I can't put jobs out. So
it was interesting.
It was. I mean, I made the healthcare go bankrupt, and then I privatized the healthcare, and I owned it. So everybody that was doing healthcare, I would get the money for. But yeah, this is one that I was on my list to play.
It was corrupt corporate America.
you know, that's the way business runs, I guess.
Ah.
But yeah, this is one that's been on my list. I've been very interested in playing and finally got
It
the
was
chance
fun.
to play.
I was glad we got a chance to play it.
It's not one that's in our collection. It probably won't be
No.
because it is so hard to get to the table. And it took us. There is a very good video out there on how to play it.
It was an hour and a half.
If we can
long
remember,
video.
and find it again. We'll put the link in there. But it goes over every section. It was like an hour and a half.
It
long,
was good,
just
but
to
it was an
teach,
hour and a
so.
half long. Yeah.
But very good game. Number 7 is Hegemony.
All right, my number 6 is another one that showed up in my top 100 in the exact same position. Number 6. My tastes have not changed much in the last 6 months, apparently.
Apparently mine has,
Oh,
though.
yes, yours has. Anyway, this is I love this game. It's a tableau builder, card play. I'm seeing a theme here. Anyway, It's a Wonderful World.
Mm.
I love the strategy behind this one. This one is card drafting, very similar to Isle of Cats or Seven Wonders. You are picking a card and passing on the rest of them, and after everybody has picked 7 cards, you decide what you're doing with them. You have the choice of either putting them down to construct them, or you can use them for their construction ability. Each one is worth a specific type of good, a specific type of cube, whereas each one, in order to build it, requires a number of cubes. And if you can get it built, it's going to give you a permanent ability rather than just that one-time ability. So each round you are going through and collecting all of the resources from your permanent buildings, and you start the game with a few. I think everybody starts with 4 or 5 permanent resources. The trick with this one, and this is where I find it very interesting, is how the construction phase works. So you trade in all your whatever tokens you're going to trade in, and you put them where you can, you construct what you can, but then you start the construction phase or the end round phase, and you start with one type of cube, and I want to say you start with the gray cubes. And depending on how many gray cubes you produce, you can take all those gray cubes and put them on your buildings right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
and if they finish a building,
yes, if you finish a building with that gray cube, guess what? You get to permanently construct it. And maybe it gave you a permanent blue cube. Fantastic. Well, now I get an extra blue cube for the rest of this build. Yeah, and blue I think is next. So now you collect all your blue cubes. And they all have names. I don't remember what each individual type of resource is. But you collect all of your blue cubes, and you put those out immediately. And look, that finished this card. Now I get a permanent green card, or green cube. And it keeps
that one's
going.
science. I know that one was science.
That was science, yeah. So it just
sounds
builds
like a
that
green
way.
card.
Cube. Anyway, it keeps going that way. I love the way this works. If you can't use one, if you get 6 green cubes and you can only make use of 3 of them, then 3 of them go onto your player card, and once you have 5 there, all 5 are immediately scooped up and turned into a Crystolium, a red cube. Red is wild. However, some cards require red.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the way this one plays. I love the thought process behind, well, let me go ahead and finish this one because this one will give me the cube I need to finish this one, and then it'll all snowball. So I love the way this one plays. I always have. It's one of my favorites.
It was in my top 100 on this list.
Nice.
It was 95.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My number 6 is the game I was talking about that it's awfully low on this list for being like number 2 on my list of my top 100. This is Dinogenics.
I thought for sure this would be your number 1.
I thought for sure too, but apparently when I went through Meeple, they didn't think so. So this is all about building dinosaurs in the parks. This is... You got the board with a bunch of different places to go. You can go to the market and you can pick up dinosaur DNA. The dinosaurs kind of build differently than some of the other dinosaur ones. You have cards, and the dinosaurs on the cards tell you how many of that type of card you need to build that dinosaur, and then you got to make sure you have the pin for it to put it in before you can build it. There's places where you can go and you get little specialty cards where they can do something different, like you can steal DNA from somebody else to build the dinosaur that they just built, or you can, like at the market as well, you can get hotels where your visitors would come in. So depending on the beds you have at your hotels is how many possible visitors you could get. But it's all about getting your reputation, because reputation tells you how you're going to go in turn order. But the dinosaurs are the main part of it, because that's where most of your points are going to come from. Because on the card, it'll tell you how many points goes down onto your player board, and that will continue to go up in each round. Wherever that marker's at is how many points you're going to get at the end of each round. But this one also has a new expansion coming out for it. This is the second expansion for it. So it's coming to Kickstarter soon. I have seen a picture of it, and somebody talking about it. I won't name names though, Jeff. But I'm excited for this one to come out. I'm hoping in the Kickstarter you'll be able to get Controlled Chaos, because I haven't been able to get a copy of that either. And I really liked it. We got to play it with Jeff with Controlled Chaos, and I really liked what Controlled Chaos did.
I did too.
So, but yeah, this was one of my big surprises on this list was number 6, Dinogenics.
Then your number 1 has to be Dinosaur World.
That might not even made the top 200.
All right. My number 5 is new to my list. At least I don't know where it came in on the top 100. I didn't look, but it was not in my top 10. So there. This is one of the Shem Phillips games, one of his more recent and one of my favorites. I think by far this is it's right up there as far. Well, according to this, it's one of my favorite strategies. This is Wayfarers of the South Tigris. This one is worker placement, dice placement. This one has a lot of dice placement in it. You have workers that don't necessarily belong to you. When you use them, you lose them. They go out onto the board, and the next person to pick up the card that you used them to trigger with gets to keep them and then use them themselves. Anyway, so with this one, you're building out a tableau of cards. As you are able to build those cards, they are doing 2 things. They are giving you permanent abilities or possibly endgame scoring. They are also giving you new spaces to put your dice. And that is the heart of this game, is the dice placement. You are rolling your dice at the beginning of the game, and you've got a small little polyomino, not even a polyomino, they're just 2-piece tiles that you are putting out there to determine what each dice can do. There's like 5 or 6 different types of actions. So say it could do a sail action for me, and I have a sail action over here on my land side, on my sea side, and I can put that 6 over there because this grid tells me it can do a sail action. So I'm going to do a sail action with this dice. So the more cards you're able to collect off of the main board, the more options you have in terms of your dice placement. So it's a tableau builder, it's dice placement, it's worker placement.
And it's a racing game.
And it's a race, yeah.
Because you're racing down that middle track.
Yeah, you're racing down the middle track to, what is that, do research? Journal. You're journaling.
Journaling, yeah. And you're picking up different things as you're going down and points and everything.
I really like this one. And this one was followed up with Scholars of the South Tigris, and I really like that one too, but I don't think I've played it enough for it to crack. I want to say
played that one once.
It's in my top, Scholars is in my top 20, but it did not crack the top 10. But yeah. Super good game. I like this one. Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
All right. My number 5 is a game that we played at Dice Tower West. It's one that I know you really like, and I believe it'll be one of our crossovers.
Okay.
This is Earth. This is all about...
That was the first of many times.
Yeah, this is all about getting the cards you need and getting them built and put out into your grid. And the strategy of this game is how you're putting this grid together. The cards will go, as you activate the cards by whatever color you got to go across the top row, then the bottom row, all the way down.
Yeah.
And it's going to depend on where certain cards are at in your tableau as to how well they're going to come out. And that is the main strategy, because you want those set up just enough so that as you're building it, you're also looking at those game-ending cards.
Goals, yeah.
So once you have that, you get to put your token out on one of those, claim one of the game-ending goals at whatever the highest point is, depending on which side of the card you play.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of fun. The first time we played it, I think I was halfway through before I realized those cards were out there. I was like, that's what we're trying to do. So I got beat pretty badly. But after that, I think I've played it pretty good.
Yeah. The
To the
games
point
have been much closer.
I think I've won it maybe
I'd
once.
have to look it up. I'm
So,
not
but
sure.
yeah, this one is really good.
Yeah. I love this game.
It's Tableau Builder, and it has an engine builder, which apparently here lately I have been kicking butt in engine building games. So, but yeah, that is number 5, Earth.
Earth.
And probably at least the second crossover.
Okay. Well, I suspect this one will be a crossover as well. My number 4 is all about the bees. This is Apiary. This will be a crossover. Apiary is... I don't know why this one keeps coming up in a lot of my lists. Probably because I cannot win it. Once I win it, I will be done with it. I will never have to play it again.
So you're going to play it for a long time, aren't you?
All right. So with Apiary, humans are extinct. The bees have evolved. They are now in space, I guess. There are a number of different options you can do. The bees have different strengths on them, and the ability of your action or the strength of your action is based on how young or old your bee is. You start off the game with a number of 1s and maybe a 2 if you're lucky. The strength of your action is based on how young or old your bee is. There's a number of different actions you can do. You can explore, and that gets you resources off of the various planets. You can build out your base, which is getting a set of
your
hive. One of 3 different types of tiles. There is an option where you can trade in resources or do the dance, in which case you can create whatever the trade-in is going to be, whether it be you're trading in resources for Queen's Favor, or you're trading in Queen's Favor to get a card, or whatever you want it to be when you go there for that option. You're keeping track of your Queen's Favors. That is all points at the end of the game, but you can trade them in for other abilities on the board as well. And then there is the carve action, which is your end game scoring. And this is probably one of the more powerful areas. They are tiles that go into your hive, but they are all very powerful end game scoring. But you can only go there with a strength 4B. Strength 4 is as high as you get. Those are your elders. Once they come off the board, they hibernate, and then they are reborn into level 1 bees.
They become larvae.
Okay. Anyway, fantastic strategy in this one, not only in where you're going to go and when to pull back and when to hibernate, but also in just how you're putting together your hive. When is it beneficial to activate your hive? When is it beneficial just to, when somebody gets kicked off the board, just put them up a level and put them right back out again. There's a lot of decisions to be made in this one. I really enjoy that. So anyway, that is my number 4. Yes, Apiary.
So my number 4 is an ultimate crossover. This is Apiary.
Well, this will be a short one.
And everything she said, but the best part of this entire game, I have her number on this one.
Yes. I have come so close. I even kicked you out of the game on the Live 24.
And she still lost.
And Jeff beat me by 1.
Different Jeff, but Jeff Hammer.
Yeah. So, I cannot win this game. I have come within 1 point twice now.
And she can't blame me because she even lost it when I wasn't playing it, though. But yeah, this is a great game. It's an engine builder, actually, too, if you can get your engine builder built right. Because I know in the game we played with Jeff Knapp in Virginia.
Oh, my gosh.
Every time I'd hibernate or pull back, I was like, okay, this does this does this. I get to do this, and I get to do this. I get those. I get this point. I get those points. And I was doing like 4 or 5 different things just by bringing my bees back.
He almost lapped us on that game.
So yeah, it's I really loved it. This was one I really wanted to get and finally got it and played it now. And
anyway.
Yeah, so that's number 4, Apiary.
All right. Well, that's what, 2 crossovers now for sure? Okay. All right, my number 3 was number 3 in my top 100. This is the predecessor to Evacuation. This is Underwater Cities. I have always loved this game. There is some card play in it. The card play to me is very secondary to everything else. It is a worker placement where you are putting out these basically cardboard pieces into, you get 3 of them each round, and you are putting them out onto various actions and doing, depending on whether you can play a card to match the color that strengthens the action, or you're just taking the action on the board. The actions will let you build out your player board, and that's where the game sings to me. I love this player board. The player board is a network of city domes you are building underwater, and each of the cities has areas for 3 different types of plants, whether it be salination plants or farmland, or there's one more, and I can't think of the white ones. Anyway, regardless, there's 3 different types of buildings that your factories or buildings you're going to build around your cities, and they're giving you benefits throughout the game as well as end game scoring points. I love it. It's resource management, it's worker placement, it is city building.
Yeah, this is the game that you actually have my number on, because you've beat me every time we've played this. This is like a 103 on my list. Because I just can't figure this game out for some reason. It's not a big game on my list here.
Yeah, I love this one. I have always loved this one. So, but yeah, that is Underwater Cities, my number 3.
My number 3 is probably one of the games we've had the longest on my list here. This is, if you could find a diamond in the rough by just accidentally finding it, this would probably be under that. This is a game that we knew nothing about. I read a brief description about it, and we ordered it just to fill a delivery order. This is The Captain is Dead. This game is a strategy game with a lot of comedy in it, I think.
It's a cooperative game, but there is a lot of strategy and how you go about your turns.
So in this game, you are all playing a crew of a ship. Your captain is dead. There's aliens attacking now, and you're trying to fix the warp cord and keep the shields up to escape the aliens. Every turn, meaning every person's turn, a new danger card comes up, and you have to deal with it. You could like lose the computers, and now nobody can get new skill cards, or the comms go down. Now you can't transfer cards to other people, or the teleporter goes down. Now you have to walk from room to room. There's anomalies that come out, and the only room that's not affected by an anomaly is the science room, where you have to go to the laboratory and be able to spin the science cards to get rid of the anomalies. It's just a blast. I mean, there's an anomaly where you can't do something in a room unless there's 2 of you in there, but there's also an anomaly that can come out that you can't do anything in the room unless you're the only person in there. We've had that happen.
Yes.
So, and the only room that you can take care of it is in the science room, and that one's not affected by any of the anomalies.
So anybody with science cards needs to meet in the laboratory and get these things taken care of. Yeah, it's crazy.
This is we like I said, we weren't sure about this game. We bought this when it was on
Game Crafter.
This is the original copy that we had is from Game Crafter. CEG has now put it out. But CGE. I always say CEG.
You do.
I worked for a company called CEG at one point. Anyway, but yeah, this is The Captain is Dead. It is such a blast. If you've never played it, it's a great co-op game. It's guaranteed to have some laughs.
Oh, we've got so many comical moments in this game, and the bad thing is, I can count on one hand how many times we've actually won the game.
Yeah, and there's expansion for this that just makes it insane. But it's a lot of fun. It's so much fun. Yep. Yeah. So, my number 3 is The Captain is Dead.
All right. Good one. I'm not sure where that landed on mine, but good one. My number 2 is our 3rd predicted crossover. It fell in number 2 in my top 100, but this is Earth. Fantastic tableau building game. This is a hand management tableau builder. You're managing resources in the form of dirt. Dirt is your currency in the game, and you have to pay dirt in order to play out cards into your tableau. This is another one of those simultaneous action games where there is very little downtime.
Yes.
Whoever's turn it is gets to choose one of 4 actions, and then they get to take the stronger version of that action. Everybody else gets to take the weaker version of the action.
Yep.
So if I'm going to take the action where I get to play out cards into my tableau, I get to play out 2 if I can. Everybody else gets to play out 1. So,
and then everybody gets to activate.
Yes, and then everybody gets to activate that green
action. It's in their tableau.
Yeah. Very good game. Interesting tableau builder. The cards are gorgeous. Yeah. I love it. Number 2, Earth.
My number 2, I honestly don't remember how we picked this game up.
Okay, well, what is it? Let me see.
But this is known as Twilight Imperium's little brother. But this is the first edition of Eclipse, A New Dawn for the Galaxy. We have not played this, the new version of this, although I really want to, but we're kind of scared because we have all the upgrades and everything for the first edition. But this is really cool because it's basically a 4X game because you are going out to planets and exploring the planets to find resources, to be able to raise up how many resources you have. You're upgrading your science. You have ships that are doing the exploring or the battling, and you're upgrading those by getting your technologies up so you can get certain weapons to put on it, certain engine styles to put on it. It was the very first game we've ever played of this, and did you find out where we got it?
We got it on offer up in 2017.
Wow, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But it's just so cool that you can keep playing actions, but it's going to start costing you money, and you got to be able to pay that money or you're in trouble.
Yeah.
And then you got colonists that you put out to claim it, and then there's battling that can go on. Because I know the last time we played it was a 4-player game, and me and Ben just started amassing huge armies.
Did you even win that? I don't remember.
Finally, we went to battle, and I think I won that battle.
Well, the battle, yes.
Connor
the
actually
game.
won the game.
Because you and Ben wiped each other out.
Yeah, me and Ben pretty much wiped each other out. I think I won the battle, though. But yeah, it's just a really cool game. If you think you might like Twilight Imperium, you never played it, play this. I mean,
this one is much more approachable.
Yes. It's not as complicated. You don't have all the politics and everything Twilight Imperium has in it.
You don't go into it with that, it's a 12-hour game hanging over your head.
No, it's only a couple hours.
Yeah, so, and I do like that. Well, it depends on how much conflict there is.
But it has conflict, but you can play it without the conflict if you want to.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there's enough space out there as you're building out on the different planets. There's enough to stay away from
out there to fight. So you can still have the conflict without fighting other players.
But you can fight the other players to take over their areas because it is kind of an area control game.
It is, yes.
So,
it is.
But yeah, that is my number 2, Eclipse, Dawn of a New Galaxy. I had to keep looking back and making sure I wasn't saying the other one.
Okay. All right. Well, my number 1 should be of no surprise. Shush. Was number 1 of my top 100. This has always been one of my favorite strategy games. I think some of the others may. I mean, yeah, Terraforming Mars. Yeah, I know. You've already said it. You kind of whispered it. Anyway. When I was going through Pub Meeple, this came up against Underwater Cities and Earth both, and I think I would be very hard pressed to say which of those 3 is actually my favorite game. You know what I mean? Just because all 3 of them.
Terraforming Mars is.
Well, yes, but I think I was almost clicking on it because I've always said that's my favorite game. So, I think the 3 of them are. I mean, they're like. Right there. So I don't know.
Well, I went into this. I said, which of the strategies out of these games I liked better? Because there was a couple of them. I'm like going, I love this game, but I really like the way the strategy is in this game.
Yes. No, I did do that a lot. That's how some of the ones ended up in there, like Corrosion, and that ended up in the list. But like I said, when you go through 300 or 400. Yes. Anyway, that's why I kept catching myself just clicking and then having to back up, going, "What did I just click on?" So anyway, Terraforming Mars. In this one, you are building out, you're terraforming Mars. This is all card play, much like Arc Nova, where we talked about you are looking at the tags. That's what they're called. They're called tags. The iconography, i.e. the tags on the different cards that give you benefits. You are building out your tableau based on these tags. Mm-hmm. So certain cards may say for every one of these types of tags you have, you get to do this. And some of that is in-game scoring. Some of it may depend on how much you are able to get in resources at the start of every round. Mm-hmm. The rounds end when everybody's out of money and passes because you can't do anything else. But the ultimate goal is you are putting tiles out onto the surface of Mars, and there are certain rules in place. You can't put a city next to another city. There's got to be other things in between them. Mm-hmm. But you're wanting to put them down near greenery because you're going to score extra points for having more greenery
for each
around
forest
them.
that's around your city.
Yeah. So, but then when you put water down, you get money based on the water that's around your city. So yeah, fantastic game. We have the upgrade to it. We bought he let me buy the big version with all the fancy miniatures and stuff, the fancy pieces.
And you just got the latest expansion.
I just got the latest expansion in yesterday. Yeah, Prelude 2 and one of the mats. I did not get all the mats. I wanted to get all the mats. I did not get all the mats. I did not. So, yes, just one. Anyway, that's my number one, Terraforming Mars.
Can you guess my number one?
I cannot, because it should have been Dinogenics. I'm still going with Dinosaur World.
So, my number one is a game. We've had this game for a little bit. I know both of us really like the game, which I'm surprised this one wasn't on your list. But
I know.
Journey likes this game.
No,
and
Flotilla.
One of the
Flotilla, really?
Yeah, you didn't let me go through my whole speech, man.
You made
but anyway, but we
talked
our buddy Matt into buying this game at Dice Tower West. But yes, this is Flotilla. This is a really good strategy because you are starting out on it's called Seaside, and you are taking ships out to the different depths of the ocean, and you're diving down to get the resources in that area, risking the fact that you run into contamination and stuff, which is going to cost you stuff. But the main thing is you're going down, you're loading your cargo ships up, and you're taking them back to the port to sell it to the market for money. Yeah. So you're going to continue to do this, and with the money you can also buy new cards to play, because this is kind of a small deck building aspect of the game.
It has that Concordia.
Yeah, because you can play one card and then bring everything back.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, you're playing a card to do a certain action on it, whether it's moving your ships out, you're going and diving, so you're rolling dice to see what you get. At one point, you can go, what is it called? I wanted to say Sunside. Skyside. You can go Skyside, where you're no longer go diving for it. Now you're going to use the resources that are in the market that everybody else is diving down to get, bring it up, and you're buying it. That's what causes the market to go up and down.
Yes,
so
it's a very interesting.
As you buy things out of the market goes up. And now the people who are still diving for the resources come in and they're getting more money, and that brings the market back down. So I think every time we've played this, though, the first person who's hit Skyside has won this game.
Maybe not the first person who does it, but it's usually one of the Skyside people. I have yet to have a Sinkside person.
But yeah, so you don't take a whole different deck when you go Skyside. No. You still have your same deck. You just turn the cards over now. The other side of the cards that you have are now Skyside, and now you're building the flotilla out. And you're scoring points on how you do the flotilla. So when you're diving and you're placing out tiles, the tiles you're wanting to place out, you're trying to see what they are. Like, oh, I've got a bunch of blue ones, so I want to make sure I get enough resources in my pot. Because you can take some of the resources, you don't have to sell them. You can put them off the side and keep them for when you do go Skyside. So you already have them to build these buildings. So whenever I do it, I want to make sure I got a good portion of resources down there, so when I go, I know what tiles are going to come out, and I know what I'm going to need. So, but it's really cool. Like I said, you're either going diving or you're building the flotilla, which is the city, and you're going to score different points on the flotilla depending on what buildings are in there and how big it is. It's just really cool, and it has a lot of strategy on how to do what you're wanting to do.
Yeah, it's a good one. This was number 22 for me.
That is my number one. A surprise to me. and that's Flotilla.
It's a good one. This is another one that every time it came up, I'm like, oh, but you know.
So, you want to do down to 20 real quick, or down to 15?
Down to 15. Let's do our 15.
Okay.
All right. My number 11 was Castles of Burgundy. I've always loved that game. I know it's probably number 350.
You keep talking, I'll look to see where Castles of Burgundy ended up.
My number 12 was Evacuation. So kind of a crossover. Very close, not quite. Number 13 is Nucleum. 14 is my only Lacerda. My highest Lacerda. That's On Mars. And number 15 was Life of the Amazonia.
The Castles of Burgundy was 168.
Oh, wow. I figured it'd be down to 300 somewhere.
So my 15, my 11 through 15.
Okay.
Number 11 was On Mars.
Okay.
Number 12 was Merchants of the Dark Road.
Ooh, that one was 19 for me. It was very close.
13 was Skullville.
Okay.
14 was Bruges, which I thought was going to be in my top 10.
It's an older game, and the
we haven't played it in a while, but
yeah,
I still love that game.
Yeah.
And number 15 was Iron Dragon.
Wow.
I love the strategy of that is, when do you go underground? Do you go underground? Where do you take your train? What job are you going to take?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of strategy on how you're going to do your route building and that. So, really cool.
But that's it.
That is our top 10.
Strategy games.
Kind of top 15.
Yeah.
Strategy games.
All right. Well, let us know what your top 10 would be. What are some of your favorite strategy-heavy games? What do they do different? What makes them stand out to you? Let us know. Let us know if we missed anything we need to check out when we're at the retreat this year.
And if you like our top 10s, let us know a top 10 idea that you have, and so we can put one of those together.
Yeah. And I know I forgot to say it at the beginning of the video. Shame on me. But if you like this type of content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon if you want notification of future content.
And follow that link below to see all of our social media.
Yeah. All right.
Till then, we'll see you at the next one.